Hi, welcome to Mercurius Being Astro Update. I'm Amy Jensen, and I'm here to run through the energies of the Pisces full moon, which is exact tomorrow, September 20th, Central Daylight Time, 6:53 p.m. So we have the moon in Pisces, shining and reflecting the light of the Virgo sun. Up there in Pisces, along with the moon, is Neptune, the ruler of Pisces. And then with the sun out of sign is Mars in Libra, but close to the sun. So we have a lot of heat and a lot of energy on the solar side of this equation, and a lot of water and dreaminess on the lunar side of this equation. Last week, September 13th, was the max elongation of Mercury, evening star. So in the west, after the sun is set, Mercury reached as far as it could away from the sun as its evening star incarnation, and this signals the beginning of the Mercury retrograde period. That period so started last Monday, the 13th. Mercury will go retrograde on September 27th, so a week from this full moon. And then Mercury and the sun will conjunct underneath the horizon October 9th. It will station direct October 18th. It will reach max elongation morning star, so it'll be rising above the sun and getting as high as it can in the heavens away from the sun on October 25th. And then finally, November 3rd, Mercury will be back to the degree at which it began its retrograde, which was 25 degrees Libra, 28 minutes. So this is the last Mercury retrograde phase of this year. I know I talked about this before. All of these retrogrades have been in the signs, air signs. So we had Aquarius retrograde period, Gemini, and now a Libra retrograde period. So this has heightened, in my opinion, or given us a greater opportunity to see into the energy of the North Node, traveling North Node, transiting North Node in Gemini, which will be completing its journey. And I think I left my notes in the house for that one, but the nodes will switch over to Scorpio Taurus, North Node Taurus, December. I think it's December 22nd. The solstice is December 21st. And the last Uranus square Saturn is December 23rd. The reason why I'm mentioning all of those is solstices are always pretty high-powered. The last Saturn-Uranus square is probably going to be pretty high-powered, or at least resolving. High-powered, however we've handled this year for each of us. And then the nodes switching signs. So the nodes went into Gemini Sagittarius in June 4th, 2020. So it's been a year, it'll be like a year and a half of that energy, within which we could have been gathering information, seeing many sides of many issues, and integrating and working through our shadow of having one belief and one belief only, or judging and shaming about beliefs. So I guess we can kind of see where that has gone in the collective discussion. So, but we still have time to resolve that personally, and it all does begin with each of us. So we're all here, and the energy work that we do on ourselves always adds to the energy of the collective. And it is interesting, so with this, I'll get back to the full moon here, but with the energies of Virgo Pisces, you know, I had talked about the Virgo being roll up your sleeves, get to work, that energy. It can also be about being so hyper realistic and so detail oriented and critical that it's so reality based, right? Could be that. That's one prism of it. Whereas Pisces, the harmonious aspect of Pisces is dreaming, is meditating, is imagining. So I've noticed in myself over the last year and a half, that tendency, my fallback is like getting a little stagnant. If I feel a little overwhelmed by the energies of the collective, feeling a little depressed about it. And regaining now, bringing this Piscean energy of imagination, meditation, and realizing our connectedness, of course, and connectedness to Source. And so reframing that sadness, perhaps, about the direction that humanity is going, and feeling a bit powerless, victim, martyrdom is an energy of Pisces, and servitude can be an energy of Virgo, like kind of a helpless, hopeless servitude, just work. So again, this lunation is a great time to highlight all this stuff. So like reframing that into, where have we gone with our imagination? Have we always been catastrophizing, right? Or have we been imagining the best outcome? And so you'll have that energy of, well, this is just the way it is, and that's the way it'll be, which of course it will be, because if that's the progression that you're expecting, probably will get those same results. But when we take it through an imaginative lens, anything is possible. And if you look back historically, if you'd like to do that, anything begins with imagination and dreaming about the possibilities of something. So, hooking into that, dreaming connectivity and connectedness with something bigger than ourselves, Pisces, with Source, with collecting to the Source in all of us, because we are all connected. Kriyananda used to say we're all just ice cubes on the ocean of existence. So we all think and believe ourselves to be separate, but we're not. We are all connected. So those that you love very, very much and who are wonderful and so dear to your heart are just as connected to you as those who are perhaps not as dear to your heart, and who we may paint in a certain light or color. So coming into that inclusive, connected space at this full moon, and coming into that energy of, then take it to yourself, take it down into the microcosm of all the cast out, lost, shadow, hidden parts of yourself, oneself, and giving all of them space, all of yourself space, and then giving all of those qualities, wanted, unwanted, named, unnamed, the love and compassion and acceptance that you would give the energies that you love to present to the world, that you might find useful, Virgoan, that others receive well. And just finding a place for all of that within you. Because that's also supported by this Mercury max elongation phase. So this phase is about, this whole retrograde phase, of course, is about going back within, rediscovering parts of yourself, integrating lost and hidden parts of yourself. And so cast off discarded parts of ourselves. This Mercury max elongation time is also a time for switching your mind into a non-linear way of functioning. And that really aligns with the energies of the Pisces full moon. Neptune Pisces is about getting into your intuition And again, that larger mind, the non-rational, the musical, the meditative, the mind where things don't make sense, right? Don't make sense. Rational sense, but you know they make sense on an intuitive level. All right, so this is also a time for you to purge and slough off after you've kind of starting to go into those characteristics, those shadow aspects, the lost, the hidden, the old, the outworn, and then do put the Virgo lens on, discern if you're done with them, if you need to own them or integrate them, or if you're just ready to let them go. Because it is a time for like getting rid of all the extra old stuff, sloughing off all the old, so that you can come into this next segment after the retrograde period, kind of renewed and re-energized. All right, so the full moon will help bring these qualities to light. So we can ask that of the energies of this full moon. So the Sabian symbols for this lunation. The moon is at 29 degrees Pisces, and this is from Linda Hill's Sabian Oracle. Light breaking into many colors as it passes through a prism. A prism in optics is a piece of translucent glass or crystal that is used to form a spectrum of light that is separated according to colors. The light becomes separated because different wavelengths or frequencies are bent by different amounts as they enter the prism and again as they leave it. The shorter wavelengths toward the blue or violet end of the spectrum are refracted by the greatest amount. The longer wavelengths toward the red end are refracted the least. So, Oracle, you may need to break your situation down into its simpler component parts in order to see the full picture. So Virgo is all about breaking things down into digestible parts, and then Pisces is all about seeing the big picture. So even though there are complex things that need to be broken down to their elemental parts, it is not as difficult as it might seem. This is vital to the success of the situation and will lead to a greater understanding of the relationship between the many parts. Just be careful not to overanalyze, thereby losing the joy that's inherent. When I read that, the lyric from a Billy Bragg song, and I may have this wrong, but I think it's from Valentine's Day. It's a bit maudlin, but it's the temptation to take the precious things we have apart to see how they work must be resisted, for they never fit together again. So that, yeah, just right there. Just don't overanalyze and break things down, that you just take all the wonder and magic and joy out of the experience. So this symbol can also indicate that you are of a curious nature, or perhaps just have a natural capacity for probing into complexities and learning about the makeup of an object, situation, or a person. So this can, on one hand, make for a constant fascination with the connectedness and the larger questions of life. However, be aware that an emphasis on pulling things apart and continual analysis can lead to disappointment. This symbol is also encouraging you to take a single vision and develop it into as many possible individual images and streams. And color might have a part to play, symbols or images. And that energy, you know, of pulling it into the component part and all the different little streams also goes along with the Gemini energy of like celebrating multitudes, celebrating the spectrum, okay? And again, I guess I'm just kind of encouraging that. I hope I haven't gone too far astray, but like every day is an opportunity to grow. Every lunation kind of highlights these, and it of course occurs in everybody's chart a little differently, but the energies of these as a whole, I guess I'm thinking of, okay, we're almost to the fall equinox, right, in a few days here too. That's a stopping point. And then we're really only 3 months away from the solstice. So, and then those other changes, the changes of the nodes, the Saturn square Uranus, yeah, and the solstice. So, you know, what prep work can we do at each lunation to integrate and grow? Okay, does that make sense? Okay, I'll read the symbol for 29 degrees Virgo, where the sun is at. A man is gaining secret knowledge from an ancient scroll he is reading. So, the ancient scroll that the man is gaining secret knowledge from can literally refer to written material, but it can also mean unwritten things, the myths and stories that are the base elements of our humanity. So I kind of love this because that's also, you know, again, this flip-flopping back and forth. So it's an ancient scroll, which could be very, you know, literal and physical, but it could also be the myths and stories that are alive in people, which to me also kind of carry on that Piscean energy of, you know, living and connecting threads through generations, through spoken word and song and music. All right, so it is, however, the ability to translate this knowledge into a practical set of lessons for our day-to-day life that assists our progress as we grow and mature. Stories from the past and from mythology are the verbalization of our inner archetypes. An oracle is something that reveals secret knowledge. Our own inner wisdom can be revealed by the inspiration of an oracle. The most seemingly insignificant information can often turn out to be valuable for future understanding or for our experiences. There may be a feeling of not knowing what to do or of not knowing what is going on. To gain a sense of clarity in your situation, go back to the basic or essential truths of the matter. This may indeed be the inner wisdom of the ages. Modern solutions may not be of use at this time. Understanding will come through patient, steady work and illuminating inspiration. So I love that last line, the patient, steady work, which would be very Virgoan, and the illuminating inspiration. And it does take both. You have to be grounded in the everyday. You need to transcribe the inspiration. You need to bring it back down and into this world to make it useful, but really holding both as valuable. So I just wanted to make a couple more remarks that just super little things that popped out at me. The Saturn in Aquarius has a septile to the moon. At this time. Septile is like a really minor aspect, and I have a really tight orb on it, so it's like 0 degrees, 25 minutes. Septile is like a serendipitous aspect. And in light of the Saturn square Uranus that I spoke about, that we're coming up to in December, I just thought that was like a little kiss from Saturn of inspiration and formation, since Saturn is about structure and it's in Aquarius, which is an energetic structure, and with the moon and Neptune and Pisces, so it's a little bit like let yourself dream, and it may be that part about like kind of bringing it down, taking notes, giving yourself a lot of latitude as far as what those notes are for or what they mean. Like that's not exactly what you should be doing with that information right now, but let it flow through you and to you. And then Pluto has a trine to the sun. Pluto is in Capricorn, and as we know, restructuring and breaking down and doing all of Pluto's underground work, which also is very supportive of the Mercury retrograde period. It has a nice trine to the sun, and along with the sun being conjunct Mars, even though it's out of sign, to me that's a lot of power. So there's a lot of power in your will, and I think I came across, I was going to read something about pigeon, and I did bring spirit animal dove, about your thoughts being more powerful. So again, if you're spinning a little negative, thinking about the worst possible outcome and but this could happen and that could happen, perhaps just reining that in, and again imagining the best possible outcome. Where am I going with that? The power from Pluto and Mars, you just have a lot, there's a lot of really physically grounded, fiery, like naval center energy, willpower, to be self-directed. Okay, I'm going to leave it at that. So along with all that watery energy, which could also translate as feeling like you have a lot of dreams and a lot of things and a lot of ideas, but maybe not feeling like you have anywhere to take them yet either. So I'll throw that out there. But this is still a gathering energy and an inspiring energy and a belief in your own volitional power. How does that feel? How does that resonate? A belief in your own power. A belief in your own dreams. A belief in your own ability to do things, Virgo, get things done, to craft the life you'd like. I think there's a lot of this, the needing to sit with something and feel it in your body. So that's the inspiration of Pisces. And then in your body, which is so Virgo, digesting like we talked about, integrating, discerning. But coming back to the fact of your own thought ability, your own creative ability. Because sometimes that shadow aspect is not only old things and things you've hidden and lost and things you're ashamed of. It could be that you have a lot of power and you have a lot of shining aspect within you, the ability to shine, to be more powerful than you think. And that also can be very frightening, because if you give up the idea that you can't do anything about anything and we're kind of at sea, which should be a Pisces image, lost. When you take ownership, that's also a little scary. Like, what have I created? Oh my God, all this karma, it's mine, and I created it at some point. But it's liberating, because that's where the Kriya comes in. That's where you take the action. That's where you meditate and you think about the right action. Okay, wow, I've digressed. I'm going to end with Dove Spirit. And it is a beautiful image. Dove Spirit, be peace. And it is from Colette Baron Reid's Spirit Animal Oracle. Let's see if I can get it closer to the camera. Oracle message. With her peaceful cooing, the gentle dove spirit invites you to embrace the energy of peace and allow compassion to warm your heart. You always have the power to generate peace within you. And the appearance of dove spirit is a reminder that today and every day is a good day to meditate, to quiet any turbulence within as you embody tranquility. Above, below, and all around you, much may be happening to distract you, but you are called to engage with the heart of a peacemaker, asking yourself, what would peace do? Can you agree to disagree? The peace you seek rises within and spreads out into the world as Spirit sends her messenger to remind you of the beauty of a harmonious existence with all that is. How beautiful and powerful is your compassionate heart. All right, I'm going to leave you with that thought and have a wonderful full moon, and hopefully you can get out in the moonlight tomorrow night, probably tonight too, and just enjoy and bathe in beautiful light of the moon. Namaste.